Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts Stocks and Crypto TA live stream. Today is Monday night, June 12th, 2023. It's about 9:45 p.m. at night, Eastern Standard Time. Today's going to be a little shorter stream, just going to touch on the big stock and crypto tickers and information. So welcome, everybody. If you have a request, just go ahead and let me know in the live chat as soon as possible. Going to be a shorter stream today. All right, so for stocks and the USA this week, we have Oracle earnings, Lennar, and Adobe. Now, the big news this week is going to be the USA FOMC press conference, the statement, the economic projections, and the federal funds rate on Wednesday. We have CPI data and core CPI data as well, PPI and core PPI data regarding inflation coming out this week as well. Retail sales later in the week. Manufacturing index, industrial production, unemployment claims, consumer sentiment, and inflation expectations to end the week. And also we're probably going to get the European Central Bank, whatever the interest rate they're going to do as well. So we'll just see what happens tomorrow and Wednesday. Now, in terms of the news, again, we do have the FOMC conference statement, economic projections. That is live streamed, by the way, on YouTube. So everyone's welcome to watch it when it happens in the morning on Wednesday. All right. Now, the big news in crypto world, which shook the entire crypto industry last week. It was a huge week in terms of negative catalyst. Binance Exchange and Coinbase Exchange were both sued individually by the US SEC due to crypto regulation non-compliance and altcoin non-compliance. And that lawsuit is well underway and it's in progress right now. A few days later, Robinhood delisted several altcoins, notably Cardano, ADA, Solana, SOL, and Matic. Okay? Due to SEC regulatory pressure. So they weren't sued directly, but these three altcoins, which were pretty popular, delisted. As a result, the crypto trading market depth and trading volume for several exchanges declined, all because of the SEC lawsuit, which is actually a very important lawsuit. Also, in more recent news, US FTC is asking the court to block Microsoft from acquiring Activision, which has been in progress for some time now. So now we're saying this year, the regulations really starting to take off with the SEC and the FTC. Let's see how much more they're going to do this year. And in Europe news, Boris Johnson did resign from UK Parliament due to the document scandal. So now let's move on quickly. Let's go to S&P 500 first. What's going on here? All right. So in terms of the trend, we are uptrending on the S&P 500 on the daily right now. We had an ascending triangle breakout, and we're starting to aim at the target on the resistance rising wedge on the top here. So it's still in an uptrend. I want people to just understand this, is we are not downtrending in the S&P 500 anymore. We are uptrending, going upstairs. This is what we want. This is what we want. Okay? We are not downtrending. We are uptrending for now. For approximately 9 or 10 months since last October. Now, where are we going to go? The target here of the ascending triangle was about 10 to 15%. So from the breakout spot, 10 to 15% would be my gray lines on the top here. So it would be about 450 to about 475 long-term targets in the gray lines. Okay, and I do want to point out, if we pull back, the immediate support is this blue line, 415, 416, the initial breakout. Also, there's support here at 427. So I'll just leave this. I'll try to keep it simple today. Don't need to spend too much time talking about it when we're uptrending. All right, so we have a monthly, it's a nice bullish engulfing candle. The weekly is still healthy looking. There's no shooting star or anything or bearish engulfing candles to the downside. Still trending up. Just want people to realize that we're doing okay here. We're golden crossed up in March and April. Now it's just a matter of how high can it go before we get maybe a small little pullback just to test support. We're probably not going to crash this year, but we're probably going to go up and down, up and down. And the next down spot might be an entry for another long. All right, let's move on. QQQ NASDAQ. On the daily, we're still in an uptrend here on the daily. I'm going to remove this parabola. Now, it's in the uptrend. I want people to notice this. Seeking out higher highs in the price. We're not downtrending right now. That was 2022. 2023, we're in the uptrend. It's a little bit overextended. I am expecting a pullback at some point. But we do have the FOMC meeting, so you never know. We might get a blow off top to the upside if there's some kind of bullish surprise news on Wednesday. But I want to point out on the RSI at least, it is about 74 in that overbought range, starting to lose a little bit of momentum. But that's just for a little bit of in terms of like day trading, swing trading. If we look at the longer term investment trend, it is still in the uptrend. And the golden cross is here. Yes, we could come back to test it, although we already tested it back here in February. So we could probably fall back down to test support, 333 area on this line. Where's the next level support? 347. And the resistance targets 360 to 383 on the top side. That's all we really need to know. These support levels down here, that's all that really matters. If it's going up, just let it go up. But if it comes down, bulls are probably going to buy this at a little discount if we're expecting the market to keep going up for the rest of the year. The Dow Jones has been struggling a little bit, going sideways here at this resistance. Okay, this resistance level 338 to about 340. The good thing is we have tested this support level above these EMAs, the 200 EMAs, several times, and support has held. So we can measure this rectangle channel going sideways. Generally from the inside, there's about 5% volatility. So if we measure 5% to the upside, about 358 target. And if we have a breakdown, basically 5% to the downside would be about 309, let's say. We are in a golden up cross, so that's good. As long as we can maintain this, it's not really uptrending. This is a consolidation sideways trend. Because we have to have the breakout. Very strong retest, just like SPY, to keep going to the upside. Weekly, green candles, good at resistance, and we have a bullish engulfing on the monthly. Flipping back to QQQ very quickly, monthly is good, healthy. We also have healthy weekly, except it's getting, on the NASDAQ, it's getting a little bit into the overbought zone on a weekly. So it could be a beginning of a yellow light, I like to call it. Red light meaning there's a major problem, like we have to get out of the market. I'm not exactly seeing that now on the charts, but it could take another half a year before we see some kind of problems here on the NASDAQ, maybe months, if not weeks, depending on the bearish catalyst. All right, very quickly, take a look at gold. Take a look at gold here. All right, so what I've been saying on gold is we do have this little support test of the bottom side trend line. We have this golden cross up here, so it's still in the uptrend now. It's a matter of where was the support going to hold. We're holding above 180 support here on gold, but 175 can also be a support level. Now we can see the high, low, high, higher, low before we try to make a higher high. That's the bullish scenario. Or we could fall back down, try to test this as resistance, and then we have a pullback down. An easy way to do this is we use Fibonacci, and you can see the easy targets. The one-to-one retrace, 190 on the top side, 175, 171, 165. 165 gold would be a pretty good discount area, as well as 170 if it ever comes down there. Back to gold chart. monthly, we do have a bit of a monthly shooting star in May. So this could explain why we're having this pullback. Might want to watch a little bit on gold to see if we get a deeper pullback or not. On the weekly investment side, we did actually double top here, and it's already down crossed on the MACD. We had a double top on the RSI, bearish divergence. So gold should actually come down. The RSI is kind of in the middle, about 57, just above neutral range. But this should have been a much more prominent crash on gold because weekly bearish divergence, it's going to take some time for that to play out. Months. But you want to watch out for this correlation with Bitcoin as well. On the daily, yes, we do have this MACD histogram, bullish momentum on gold. Support has to hold, however, and then we might see a little bounce, a pullback. If we get a nice double bottom here, then we get that rally going on. So longer term, it looks like gold wanted to come down, but it's hesitating right now at the support level. Silver. By the way, I closed my silver short here for profit, multiple profit targets, and that trade is over now. Very successful. Now, in terms of the daily on silver, we did have this upside down potential head and shoulders, and this is valid right at a support level above 2065. And right now, what it's doing is it's back testing the neckline. So I'll draw it in blue, this neckline right here. And if we measure about 5% to the upside, if that goes up, 23 is the target, and double the target is about 24, 26. So 23, 24, those are 4 gray lines, easy targets to see. Here we have the high, low, higher, high. Still in a golden up cross for now. Great. The weekly, again, we do have this bearish divergence on the weekly. So longer term, we might see at least a little bit pullback or a leg down on silver. Because if the market goes bullish, people are probably going to flow the money back into stocks and ETFs over time, even more. Okay, quickly, let's look at US oil. US oil continuing its downtrend. So you can see we death crossed here on US oil at $71 in December 2022. Let's connect the trend lines. This is also pointing down. We could actually make a nice little parallel channel to the downside. Right? So if we lose this is actually a head and shoulders beneath resistance with the neckline right at $59. If this is real, 8% downside target to the bottom of that channel, probably with the candle wick, almost like this type of action down here, because we have a liquidity zone. And this is the volume profile from TradingView. It's free. Now, if I'm using the visible range volume profile, and I'm doing 2022 till today, and you could see the hidden resistance and support levels in the trading. $70, $64. There's not much below 60 right where we are. You could see it's kind of no man's land in the volume over here. So the next levels down is like 57, 55, 52 even. So watch out for that downside target. If there is some bullish news, then we can see the resistance up here at $70. UNG still crashing. And again, I want to remind people that USO and UNG, oil and gas, they do not always follow technical charts. It's mostly based on fundamentals and supply and demand and news and production from multiple countries. So on the daily, it's continuing to crash. This is the definition of a downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and it keeps tightening here and still making a lower low. The only thing I would say is it's beginning to finally start to at least slow down the velocity range direction of its bearish trajectory to the downside. If we look at the weekly, there is still a very large MACD histogram, bullish divergence on the RSI as well, and here on the natural gas price. Now, on the volume profile for the past couple of years, as an investor mindset, there is support up to maybe about $6 area, and you can see there's not much volume below that. So it's kind of bottoming out a little bit, but you want to see kind of like a January 2021 symmetrical triangle where you have a firmer level of support back tested for about a year. That's what actually kickstarted our rally. So we're actually kind of still in price discovery mode, kind of floating around here, which means we need to at least go sideways for an extended period of time on natural gas. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate that. Because if it keeps going down, it's not the bottom. The bottom has not been found yet. We will know when it's the bottom. Excuse me. When we keep going sideways. And then if we have a potential uptrend reversal, that's the time to go big in natural gas as a long. Even the monthly, you're starting to see that MACD histogram starting to show up. Okay, let's do a couple just visual ETFs. So XLK, the tech sector, I'm just going to do visual here, it's approaching its all-time high of $175, still in the uptrend, nice and healthy. Although if we do have a pullback, you can see the pullback levels, it's getting parabolic, it's getting steep. So at some point we might get a pullback. Turn up volume profile, you can see there's not really much liquidity up here at 175. Okay, let's go all the way back to 2020. I like look at the charts like this. Some hidden resistance levels. We're almost approaching no man's land here in the 175 area, and the pivot does confirm that. We're above the pivot points is good, still in the golden cross. It's a matter of how high can we stack the Jenga pieces of price before we get a large pullback. I do want to remind people, we zoom back, rewind. Let's go to 2020. We're basically reliving 2020 rally right now, essentially. After a huge crash, 2020 recovered faster because of government stimulus and the saving by the government. But I remember this part here in April 2020, even up to until summer, is there were a lot of skeptical people. I remember there's still talk about recession and talk about market crash and how this is a dead cat bounce, meaning it's going to crash one more time. So I do want to remind people that if we're in an uptrend and support is holding and we're not reversing into a downtrend, it means we're going to go up. Okay? Now, how high? That's up to the market to decide. Sometimes when we get too high, we get these pullbacks, but sometimes it keeps going up. That's what I mean by a pullback. You might get a little small red candle that comes down. You might get a big one. What percentage is that? 7%, 14%, little mini pullback crashes. Have we had that yet? We sort of did at the beginning of this year, but we haven't had a big 7% or a big 14% crash, which is definitely possible. And then the bulls will come back to really buy into that. We're in upcross right now. So it's a matter of any of these dips here on these EMAs, I'm looking to buy more. I'm looking to buy more because it's going up. Inflation is coming down. This is good. This is good. All right. Let's take a quick look at XLF. XLF is attempting its uptrend underneath resistance of the EMAs right here. It's not an oversold play anymore. It's about price trend. The oversold play was back in October, November. We are now, it's a different era, a different transitional period for stocks and ETFs, including crypto. It's very big what's happening right here. Now, XLF, what I'm seeing on this longer term daily chart is the higher low potential, possibly a W double bottom bounce. So my target on XLF, some of these ETFs is $35 to the upside. The downside target immediately $32. So it's symmetrical triangle tightening up here. The ultimate target could be about 20% possibly to the upside. Longer term, maybe end of this year or next year, because the regional banking crisis, if that ends and inflation keeps coming down, if the interest rate pauses and holds or starts to come down, we could see a significant rally in some of these ETFs that are a little bit beaten down. Okay, going even a little bit faster. right? Communications is seeking higher high. Real estate is kind of, XLRE is doing a little bit of this symmetrical triangle tightening as well. So you can see if it holds the double bottom, we break a resistance, upside target about $39, downside target $35. Energy also holding a potential double bottom. It did bounce off of that, so this is not the newest chart pattern. Still in a descending triangle, however, and you want to watch out for the resistance $85 and the $77 support level. We'll do one more. Consumer discretionary, people spending money, although there's still inflation pressure, gas is still expensive, fuel. Now we had the symmetrical triangle breakout, the retest. So how far could this go? Possibly 9 to 18%. We're almost hitting this target. We hit the 9% target, so 18% would be about 174 at the top side here. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. So you can understand, you hear the news, you read the news, that not every stock and ETF in the market has uptrended yet. It's kind of mixed. You're going to keep hearing it's going to be a mixed rally. We're not in a bull market yet, quote unquote. But if it depends on what asset you're looking at on the screen. If we look at SPY, 100% we're in a bull market uptrend. QQQ, 100% we're going up. Dow Jones, no, we're going sideways. Half of these ETFs are going up, but I'm finding some of the low ones, right, that haven't really gone up a lot, especially XLF and XLRE. SMH, the semiconductor, is kind of too high at this point. But if somebody wants to study the charts like Amazon or SMH, these are good charts to study, because how can I determine as a trader analyst when it's going up, sideways, down, or up? Pattern, head and shoulders, that's going down. Upside down head and shoulders, that's going up. Uptrending by the dips, right? Very, very solid. Solid. We don't need 50 indicators on the charts, although indicators can help. And when you hit a resistance level, you might get a pullback. So I'm expecting at least some kind of pullback, unless we have the greatest breakout ever to the upside on SMH. All right. So let's just stop here. Stocks, ETFs, unless somebody has a request. Let me just check really fast. I don't see anything. Okay. We're going to move on to crypto. Thank you for the follow. Crypto. So we're looking at TOTAL. Thank you for watching. I'm live streaming on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch right now. We also have a Twitter group. I have a Twitter account, so you can follow along. And sometimes I tweet out messages. I did tweet out my Bitcoin idea last week. So let's go ahead and take a look at that in a moment here. So total market cap. Now, crypto, the SEC lawsuit is a very big deal. It's a very big deal, it's going to have a very long-lasting effect and repercussion on the market. My prediction and my thought process on the SEC lawsuit is that many altcoins may not survive in the future, meaning they might be delisted, removed, coins might go bankrupt, etc. So before I actually get to the chart, let me just briefly say verbally, what are my 4 scenarios? I'll try to do this as fast as possible. Let's start with the worst case scenario. So scenario 4, worst case scenario, is crypto trading and investing could get banned in the USA entirely. That would mean millions of traders and investors would panic sell their Bitcoin. That would crash the market. That's the worst case scenario. If all crypto trading and investing is banned in America, could happen one day. Now, the realistic scenario 3, is it's going to be probably maybe half and half, where some cryptocurrencies will survive and some will basically be ended, deleted, kicked off American exchanges and be forced to be only traded on international exchanges. So if someone's an international trader, the crypto industry is not going to zero tomorrow, hopefully, but the trading volume is down. The market depth is down. There's less buyers. People are not hyped on crypto right now. We're not excited about crypto right now. It's a serious lawsuit. Now, scenario 2 is, I'm going to call it the good scenario, is actually what if Coinbase and Binance, Binance USA and Robinhood, they actually survive the SEC lawsuit and they get to continue to operate in the USA. That would mean probably some of the top cryptocurrencies will survive and we're able to still trade and invest without having any legal problems. Now, the best case scenario 1, if this even ever happens, is everything almost stays the same, right? Except for maybe a few kind of scammy coins or really weird coins. You know, I wouldn't mind if the entire industry kind of shrunk a little bit. I'm not sure we need 1,000 altcoins, right? You know, having each utility for its own purpose would make more sense. But the SEC, they're trying to do, and the FOMC, CFTC, there have been reports that in the future they might make the central bank digital currency in the future at some point, but that's going to be all government-based, government controlled. So, in summary, the golden days of crypto trading, the golden days of crypto trading and investing may be over. And so I'm just being very flexible right now. If this is going to turn into a 2018 crash or 2019 crash, I'm actually ready for it. If this thing is going to crash down, now we're going to look at the total chart. And the lawsuit, by the way, SEC lawsuit can last for years. It's not going to be fixed in 5 days from now. That's why this is a very, very big deal. All right. Now, let's get into the actual TA for this chart. We're looking at the support levels, which were lost. We lost 1.07 trillion market cap, and we're continuing to fall. This is a short-term downtrend. Like I said in my idea, I'll probably bring that up next. But we're in this little wedge aiming down right now, and we lost the support. Can it survive? It could survive, but what would it take? We need a very strong reversal on the price. And that usually only happens with a lot of strong positive catalysts or somebody with millions and millions of dollars coming in and buying the market up. Right now, this month, I don't even think it's going to happen this month. We might get a bounce up to the upside just to kind of retest this for technical sake, but it is in a downtrend right now in the short term. The 6 month is still in an uptrend. However, if we lose this 888 billion level, we're in big trouble because then that confirms the downtrend is going to continue. All right, look at a monthly chart. I do want to point out that for about 2 streams, I was potentially warning about this. Watch out for this bearish evening star if this scenario occurs, and then lo and behold, it actually occurred. Okay, so this is a bearish signal, right? And the beginning of June was a little bit, could go either way, and then we had the lawsuit, and I knew I closed all my crypto swing positions on the first day of the lawsuit, right? So I'm not really in too much pain right now. But if somebody's trying to hold and think the market's going to recover in 5 days or 2 weeks, it might be a bigger problem than that. Now, I don't want to sound too bearish, right? We did lose support. There is a chance, though, however, if we hold above this weekly 888 billion line, that we just making another higher low in the index, and then it could bounce. Okay, but I do want to emphasize to people, if things get really bad and we start seeing capitulation panic selling, it could go down quite a bit. All right, let's go to Bitcoin because that's what everyone wants to see. Bitcoin. Let's stay disciplined here and let's look at the monthly chart first. So even monthly chart on Bitcoin, I'm zoomed in pretty big here. We have the bearish evening star triple candle pattern. It's not perfect textbook because if you look at textbook, it'll say this third candle had to come at least 53% into the inside of this left one. But I understand the psychology. There's something bad happening right here. There's resistance at 30,000. We're selling off. We're going to extend this sell off because SEC lawsuit. Now, if you look at the monthly chart, we have plenty of room to consolidate to the downside. Bitcoin, the ultimate line in the sand for Bitcoin is about $16,000. That's way down here in the blue. right? The intermediate weekly is about $20,000 and the resistance $30,000. So there's only several numbers that we need to break out of here, right? These are the levels that we're just kind of staring at, and 25,000. So you can see, if it's not going to bounce, we need a monthly, 1 or 2 months of nice big green buying for us to continue the uptrend. If that doesn't happen, altcoin prices, and crypto prices are at risk. They're in jeopardy, they're at risk. Meaning if we don't bounce, big problem with the price. So I'm out for that. I'm out. If it bounces and it continues, I'm okay with that because I'm probably going to enter in again. But I need to see evidence. We're going to see this thing go up, the price. And I need to see some maybe positive catalyst somewhere. Okay? Because on the weekly, this weekly trend line got broken to the downside. And if it doesn't recover the price, big problem with crypto. Now you might say, well, no FOMO charts. You said 1 or 2 weeks ago we could try to go to the moon. But that's before the SEC lawsuits. And the price is not, this should have held because we had a little bit of a morning star right here. That should have blasted us up to the upside more. But I'm fairly certain the SEC and the parts of the US government, they do not want the rally to go up. The government does not want crypto to go up. And this has happened several times, okay? This is not fake news, but this is what really happened. If we rewind back to the weekly chart, in December 2017, the SEC and I believe the CFTC, they authorized Bitcoin futures trading. And what happened after that? Futures crashed the market. What also happened here, somewhere in like June or July 2019, after this huge rally, former President Trump tweeted out that Bitcoin essentially is bad, and that really spooked the market. Even people and their parents were talking about how bad Bitcoin was, and then we crashed. And then here in 2020, we had the COVID crash. And then here in 2021 was just natural market overbought conditions, and we had a formation. And there was a little bit less government intervention here, but the market just crashed on its own. But now, right where we are in time, it's another government intervention or a pushback on the industry trying to push out the exchanges and altcoins out of America. I do want to point out also, when the price hesitates too much, there could be a crash coming. Right? When the price hesitates too much and it doesn't really go anywhere, meaning it doesn't go up after an extended period of time, half a year maybe, 3 months, 4 months, then somebody out there, a whale is going to say, you know what, we're not going to go up, we're going to go down, sell short, and then it's going to be a panic capitulation, cascade to the downside. Both of these spots, this is the Bitcoin Cash Civil War, the split, that's why it crashed the market. We had COVID as well. And then we had, this might have been, one of these was the President Trump tweet that Bitcoin is bad, etc. Okay? So, in summation, Bitcoin, medium-term uptrend, short-term downtrend, beware of a crash because it can go down to 16,000 or 25,000. You'll know when we're going to go up when we break $30,000 and hold above that if that ever happens this year. If it doesn't happen this year, I am prepared for a crypto crash mentally, emotionally, physically, just everything. Alerts, whatever I need. Okay? We could even come down to 24,000. There is a little secret support level here. We need this hammer candle for the bulls to win. We keep seeing bearish engulfing candles, red, red, red. I'm out of there. As an investor, I am not jumping back into crypto until I have some more positive fundamentals. Like if the SEC lawsuit continues, but then actually the crypto exchanges basically start winning. Let's say the SEC starts losing in the lawsuit. That's going to probably trigger a rally. Yes, there are the holders right now, but for me, because of what's happening, I'm not a holder. I'm not a holder right now in this market condition. So we shall see. Okay, I see the request here from TradingView. I'll probably have to get to that after a couple more crypto requests. All right, let's speed it up here. So Ethereum, USD, same deal. On the weekly chart, we lost that weekly support. Even if I pull it down a little bit, we just lost it last week because of the lawsuit. So the support definitely needs to hold above where? 1700 level. Use Fibonacci to make it more, right? Like this. So the 50%, 1555, excuse me, $1,700 and then 1400 on the downside in these blue lines right here. Okay. If we have a rally, great. I will re-enter when we rally. When it happens, fantastic. But I need a little bit more evidence. It's right at that turning point where if it doesn't go up, we are probably going to crash down pretty hard on this. When we get Ethereum capitulation, it's pretty big. Red candles, right? So we shall see. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. We also have a down cross on the MACD. The MACD histogram also to the downside. Yes, the monthly is here, but you can see the market starting to round out over. Consolidation sideways could be our another scenario. If it consolidates, that's fine. Traders will probably play that. So in the short term, we're downtrending right here. Long term, it's still trying to hold this golden cross EMA to the upside. We're just testing it right now. It's tapping it right now. We can get a large piercing to the downside. That's why I'm cautioning people about. Just because it's right here doesn't mean it has to bounce. It could have a violent downside move, and then that's the place to enter in for a day trade, swing trade, if someone's trying to capture that. Right now, when it's really quiet, 2 days before FOMC press conference, I'm hands off the computer for now, for trading. I can keep charting and getting ready, but in terms of if I want value on Ethereum, I want it cheaper because of the negative catalyst. 1500, 1400. Let me buy it there. $1,200, $1,000. Let me just buy it down there for a longer term hold. All right, Binance Coin. Obviously, Binance Coin took a very, very strong hit to the downside, and there was that couple days of consolidation, right? I did explain this a little bit on the stream where saying it's starting to consolidate here to the side like this one on a daily chart, and it was already kind of downtrending already. Okay, when it starts going sideways like this is what I'm saying. It's basically going nowhere until you have a big directional crash or a rally. If we had some positive, let's say, hypothetically, if Coinbase or Binance passed the SEC regulation, this would have went the other way. This would have been huge green to the upside, but it went the other way because the lawsuit turned sour and went bad. So now we crash back down, even more down than our weekly support level. So let me back out here and rewind. First off, this wick support was lost to the downside. This trend line up here, let's actually use closes to keep it symmetrical. We lost the support level. I also do want to point out that Binance Coin is 10, 20 times more expensive than it used to be years ago, right? So if this ends up being the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, excuse my euphemism, but, you know, if it keeps downtrending, lower low, lower high, lower low, where's that going? 162. All the way from the bottom to the top, where's that 786? We lost the 618. So 150's area could be our downside target, $100 and $87. 3 targets to the downside. If this thing doesn't bounce. So Binance Coin, unfortunately, you know, they started as an international company. That's part of part of the problem too. So we'll see. Let's go to Ripple. Do a couple more cryptos and we'll do this request. Now Ripple, we had this nice rally on Ripple. I'm on a weekly chart right now. on Ripple. It is right at the resistance level, trying to break out. Ripple, a little bit more adored in the international community. But you can see kind of almost not quite an ascending triangle if we draw the lines together right here. Not quite there, but if it has a breakout, I wouldn't be surprised. You can try to measure this right now about 40% to the upside if it ever gets there, because 618 looks like this target, this blew up here. Somewhere in there, about 73 cents if it's going to get there. Okay. Just watch out for that. Wherever this higher low is going to be, right? Higher low. Higher low, we established it with a tweezer double bottom right here at 42. Okay. The bearish scenario, just in case, is this could turn into a double top M. Just any big selling, this will crash back down, way back down to here, 40 cents or 45. Let's put that in there just in case. So a couple more cryptos. Let's do Cardano. Now, Cardano got delisted from Robinhood. That's a big deal. You can see Cardano's been in a almost 2-year downtrend. We have these little dead cat bounces. These are dead cat bounces. You have a little rally and then it continues to the downside. So this was kind of turning into a consolidation pattern here on the more recent price action. Almost turned into a head and shoulders with the neckline breakdown, if somebody wants to call that. Right? Definitely it could be. And where's that target? 33% to downside. Do we hit that? Yes. So then the second downside target would be negative 66 to the downside. Nobody wants to hear that number, but 12 cents or less. And if we Fibonacci, let's see what else we find. Right? That's no man's land down there. Now, the other way to think about it is once we get into the negative 90s% off, there might be some kind of value there, but obviously at this moment in time, Cardano is much more risky, Solana and Matic as well, because it got delisted. Basically, any altcoin listed in that SEC lawsuit can be elevated risk, and anything related to those coins, like similar technology or style of the coin, could be a problem. Okay. This would be a bigger problem if Bitcoin was listed 50 times in the SEC lawsuit, right? So it's a slightly different, to my understanding and knowledge, lawsuit. All right, so I'm not going to go over every single crypto right now. Just kind of understand the general psychology is, if it's going to crash back down to the downside, not every support level is going to hold. We open this. Let me open up like a daily on a Dogecoin, for example. You can see we had the most volume way down here in the 0.002 range or the 0.01 range. We had a lot of consolidation hesitation in the 7 cents range for Dogecoin, and we lost that support level. All right. So I am basically gently friendly warning reminder to people. If we are going to crash, crypto can crash extremely hard, extremely fast. It takes the elevator down. And from experience, I do not want to get unnecessarily caught in that downward capitulation. I'm just going to wait for a great setup or great fundamental news. This was a great setup back here in 2020. That was a perfect upside down head and shoulders on Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. But for what it stands right now, still downtrending, barely holding that support. Okay. How will we know it's going to go up? Well, the price first has to drop. First, the price has to stop dropping, meaning it shouldn't go lower. It should go sideways, and then it's a little bit of a fight here, and then it should rally and turn into an uptrend. Case in point, like a S&P 500 or NASDAQ style chart. That is not happening on crypto right now. Yes, people can day trade and scalp, but the swing trading is getting riskier and the investing is getting riskier as well because of the fundamentals. Case in point, Shiba Inu. Support was lost, capitulation crash. Capitulation crash. Just one giant red candle, even on a daily. So you see liquidity here, not much, not much. Down here in the 592 zone, not much. So until I see a larger structure formation, I'm not getting that excited about crypto. The only other thing that might make me get excited, it is oversold. So when it gets super oversold, very oversold, then maybe I might want to re-enter and just pick some up on select coins only, judiciously. Meaning exercising good judgment, not just closing my eyes and throwing, funds into blind cryptos. That's not a strategy. Matic kind of applies to Cardano. So you can see the crypto crash is still underway and in progress. And that famous Wall Street quote, low price can always go lower. So never try to catch a falling knife. All of these Wall Street quotes are actually true. So it's not about running away in fear. It's about, okay, what's the most likely scenario based upon the technical analysis and the fundamental news and fundamental analysis that lawsuit against crypto exchanges is bad, and that crashed the market, right? If someone's going to say, wait, but the RSI is oversold and shouldn't it go up? Well, the first RSI hit is not usually always the bottom. If we look at, rewind to the back left here, the first RSI hit on Chainlink was I'm referencing April 22. That was 50% higher than the bottom. So if we measure this, we actually drew a parallel channel. This link can crash negative 63% to the downside before we might even get to any type of bottom. Okay. And you want to watch out for that as a trader, or at least I want to watch out for that because I don't want to hold down negative 60%. That is not good investing. We just lost the 0.88 retrace area. Bearish fundamentals. Where's this thing going to crash down to? Then once I get a longer consolidation period somewhere down here, maybe in the mid $2 or $3, and this thing's going to reverse, or we see a big reversal sooner, then I might get excited again. Because now there's even problems about potentially in a bad or worst case scenario that Binance USA might have problems with their banks, right? That's going to affect deposits. That's going to affect withdrawals. Might even affect stable coins. So yes, I props and respect to the holders and the hodlers. However, from all my knowledge and experiences, if we're going to have a crazy market crash to the downside, I do not want to be inside of it. I don't want to be in the middle of the storm. Going to wait for a better entry. Nothing wrong with that. As an investor, nothing wrong with that. But there is a problem if somebody buys at the top and holds all the way down to the bottom and then panic sells at the bottom. That's the exact opposite wrong strategy. That's gonna basically cause somebody to go bankrupt. If I can call something a wrong strategy, it would be that one. Because somebody has to have a minimum stop loss level or a minimum loss level, right? Because sometimes these crypto drawdowns can go negative 90 to negative 100%. Worst case scenario in crypto is it goes bankrupt, like Luna or FTX or et cetera, Celsius, right? And it just goes down to zero. So the ultimate stop loss is zero, basically. So people have to remember that. Let's just all remind ourselves. Somebody, an investor, if you're an investor like I am, I understand. The ultimate bankrupt problem in crypto is whatever coin I'm holding or investing in goes to zero and doesn't exist anymore. Crypto exchanges can fail. Coins can fail. We've seen it happen over and over again. Now, instead of relying on hype, let's take this to just educate ourselves for a second. Very easy to see on Link. Is it going up? Is it going sideways? Or is it going down? It depends. In this particular case, medium term was going sideways, but in the long term is still angling down. That's why. We're not in an uptrend on Chainlink right now. No. It's going down. How far down? The market will show us. All right. I'll do one request, CCJ. I'm just going to do one. This is a stock request from one of the followers and supporters on TradingView. Let's look at this. Chemco Corporation. Let's see. It's a metals and minerals company. All right. Now, this company on the daily is still going in its uptrend. Okay. Can you see the difference right here? I'm not going to recommend, this is not a recommendation, but can you see the difference in at least the direction? This stock versus going flip back to Chainlink, right? Can everyone see the clear difference in the price direction? Okay. This is what I'm talking about. If something's in an extended downtrend, that's not time to buy long. It's time to go short or sell. All right. So somebody's asking me about a long opportunity. Okay. I see why maybe you're interested in this, because there might be that potential. It's not quite an ascending triangle. It's more of a symmetrical triangle type of deal where there could be a 30% breakout. So if we measured that, it could go to $40. Check the pivots. That's way above the R5 pivot. It's in a golden upcross right now, so I kind of like this setup. The volume is pretty low though. 7 million with 430 million float. On the weekly, let's see what the clues tell us. It kind of has to break out a little bit harder than this. $32 needs to go to the upside as well. If you look left, this looks like it's tracking the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. A little bit more like almost like NASDAQ, even though it's an energy company for some reason. Just the chart. But you can see the resistance at $47 and $38 right here. Let's bring the volume profile. We get a lot more information right here on the weekly as well. You could see it's starting to approach no man's land. So if it's going to break out, it could break out at least to one of these resistances. And if it's going to go to the moon, I mean, that's up to the market. But at least there's a shot here at these bullish targets. However, I do want to point out, if it pulls back, a possible more discounted area, which is in the liquidity zone, might be like a $25 or a $20. So let's put it that way. All right, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm trying to keep the stream shorter today. So thank you for joining, everyone. I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. We also have a Twitter group. If any other breaking news or a very interesting chart happens during the next 1 or 2 weeks, I'll probably release that on TradingView and Twitter. So thank you for watching. Always appreciate the supports and the follows from everybody. Thank you, everybody, for following today and chatting. And I'll see you next week. Most likely it will be... Oh, next week is an American holiday weekend, so probably next Monday or Tuesday for the next stock stream. Thank you, and bye-bye.